My house is right on the beach, and the waves are big, and the water is, of course, always freezing.
Yes, yes. Well, I'm actually, my roots, I come from the Daytona Beach area, so I'm used to seeing the big waves and the walking on the beach, and I miss it now when I drive to work. It's up I-75, but it's okay.
Well, but there are lots of beaches in Georgia.
Yeah, that's true, and lakes. There's a lot of lakes in Georgia.
I'm more of a beach guy.
Yeah.
Boy is a beach guy. That could be your byline. Each boy is a beach guy.
Yeah. I have another colleague here. His name is Dave, and he is a musician, and he is so excited. We're both so excited that you've given us a chance to talk to you and just talk about what's coming up. But yeah, this is Dave.
Hi, Bruce. Thank
you.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, Dave. Well, it's funny. It's like, I'll just say this to you. John Stamos will say sometimes that he's a musician and an actor.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'm a kind of still to this day, I'm a surfer and a musician.
Hey, that's awesome. I hear that you have some ties to Georgia.
I have some lovely ties. I was adopted. I always knew it. But I thought it was a good idea to just kind of see what connection was medically.
Yeah.
Histories of whatever in the family. So I did a big hunt. Oh boy. And, I finally got to the adoption agency from back in the day,
Yeah, that's hard.
And they wouldn't really, reveal information, really. But except I knew my name. Okay, so to make the story very short. So we were playing a concert, and I invited the person that was head of the committee. And I think when I brought her on stage to sing Barbara Ann, I think that opened the door. So I got the information, and I was able to find that I have 3 half-brothers and sisters. Imagine that. They must not have had cable. In from Madison, Georgia, and I was very careful because I didn't want to startle them. I didn't even know I had that man. I just knew where the family was from. And I made the calls, and over a couple of days, because that kind of information might really,
just
annoy you or something. Anyway,
right, yeah.
So I found out, where they were from, and I didn't know what to expect, and they were financial planners and teachers and educated and really nice, and
that's awesome.
They had antebellum houses in Madison that they owned. And so I've gotten to get to know them over the last several years, and I asked my sister, my oldest sister, I said, well, okay, I know this is kind of a surprise. What was the best thing you liked about finding out that you had a brother? And she said, well, now I'm no longer the oldest child in the family.
Well, the way to look at the bright side.
Now, you want to hear one more last thing, and then I'll shut up?
Oh, you're fine.
Okay. You're going to really like this. You have to think real Southern for this, and church, and what goes on after church, and maybe you go to have church dinners or whatever, so it's Sunday night. So my family's gathered after some nighttime event, church-wise, and the Ed Sullivan Show comes on. And, of course, we, the Beach Boys, way back in the day.
Yeah.
This is 1968, and this is kind of when we had a song called Do It Again. And so my mother's watching the television, and, of course, I'm in the band. I'm wearing a white suit. And she says, that boy playing the organ and singing sure looks like your brother, your older brother. Oh, my gosh. Can you believe that? So my mother actually...
Wow.
Isn't that a lovely ending?
That's awesome.
I know. So that's my Georgia tie. I go down often to Madison, and it's really nice. And, of course, and again, my other tie to Georgia simply is James Brown. you know.
Right, right.
You know, he's like Bruno Mars is a lot like James Brown.
Yes. Yeah, that's very true.
So, you know, so I have that little Georgia tie. I mean, I love James Brown as a really young guy because of the energy and the dap step and the great song. You know, and now that when I see Bruno Mars, I actually talked to him about it once, and you know, about how we liked it. Anyway, so music has opened many doors for me, and I'm a lucky guy.
Oh, wow. We have, you know, we knew who you were, but we just did a little background information. You have really had an incredible career. I mean,
you know,
it was amazing.
I have enough talent to stay in the game.
Yes.
You know that.
Yes.
But you know, I think this is all planned out for you, you know, millions of years in advance. Mm-hmm. I always was in the right place at the right time. And I was able to follow through and musically was able to, you know, play an instrument or sing. And, you know, as the years rolled by, you know, I didn't think about this stuff until the last 10 years. But, you know, this is not the history of Chris Johnston, but I'll just tell you one really neat thing. Just one of a few, not a lot, but enough to get started. One of the starting things for me was back in the day when I was 16, summer job, playing in a band, and with the one-hit wonders, so to speak, of the day that had one-hit radio, and they'd show up and they'd have a house band. Well, I was the house band with about four other guys.
Yeah.
And the guy I used to back up the most, who was the local LA guy, was Richie Valens.
That is... I will tell you that I'm not gonna lie. That is one of my guilty pleasure movies. Is La Bamba, the Richie Valens story, and I absolutely like Delphi Records. Like I read that and I was like, oh my gosh, he was with Richie. That is amazing.
Hang on, it's a keeper. So Richie only had come on. This is just for you now, if you want. He only had one Let's Go. You know,
yeah.
And I wasn't even singing. I was just playing in the band, right? You know, and so every week he would come and show up. We have rehearsal at a place for the 5 or 6 people that were on the show that night in LA County. We had 3 different venues. I even backed up the Everly Brothers once, but we rehearsed. And Richie Valens was the guy who came the most because he was the local guy, but he was having a regional hit record with Come On, Let's Go. So then at the end of the summer, I hadn't seen him for about 2 weeks in August. At the end of the summer, it's Labor Day, and we're backing up again. And it's a really big show for the time. You know, the Kingston Trio and Johnny Cash, and, 16 years old, and this is happening. Anyway, so my last words with Richie Valens were, I said, hi, Richie, where have you been? He said, well, I've been recording an album with my manager, who was his producer. Mm-hmm. And by the way, if you look at the manager in the movie, he has no hair.
Yeah.
Well, look up Bob Keane, who was the manager and owned Delphi. He had all the hair in the world.
That's funny.
Anyway, so finish this out. So I said, well, gosh, what you've been recording an album? What are you recording? He said, well, Bloopers Over the Mountain. We belong together, songs of the times just before him, things he heard in high school. And he said, I wrote a song we recorded. I wrote a song about my girlfriend. So, of course, we're talking about Donna. Donna.
Yep.
And here's the startling thing that he said. He said, and last week we recorded the Mexican wedding song.
The La Bamba.
La Bamba.
Yep.
And I went just a month ago by accident. We went to Clear Lake, Iowa, the Beach Boys. And that's the last place Richie Valens and Big Bopper and Buddy Holly played.
Yep.
And I'm standing in the dressing room, where they each were tossing, all the acts were tossing coins to see who got able to not drive in the bus without the heater and go on the plane. And anyway, so it was kind of full circle. And then I, even on the wall, I saw an album that I kind of reproduced after he passed away of all his high school tapes and everything, and it was really amazing. So all these things happen to me because of, the music I do and the music Mike and Brian wrote and Roger Christian wrote the car songs and the band thing. So I'm having this incredible life, and we're still chugging along. And I don't know what's happened in the last year. Maybe it's kind of like people think, about us like Disneyland, Disney World. We've had mostly sold out concerts, and we will have done by December 140 concerts.
Oh my gosh.
150 on the book for next year.
Wow, that's incredible.
I don't know how you're going to condense talking to me to a couple hundred words.
I got to ask you. This is from my boss. He said he wanted to know, when you play a song like "Good Vibrations" for perhaps the 100,000th time in your career, do you zone out when you play it, or have you ever, do you go on autopilot? Have you ever forgotten the words?
Well, we will forget a chord or a word. What we do is really precious to go on autopilot, and we change the set list. We tweak it every night. It's always a different set list. We sound check and rehearse every day before a show.
Wow.
First, and then we have dinner. And so by the time we hit the stage, we know what it's going to sound like. I've got my mic adjusted. And, I'll tell you who does that. I always tease Mike. Mike Love, I say, Mike, we're turning into the Surf Tony Bennett. because we're starting to get older. And, he's always on tour.
Yep.
And he comes and he sound checks every day and just makes sure, comes to the venue instead of sitting back in the hotel, having bonbons or something. and we do that every day.
Wow.
I know, it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
How could it be bad? I really like what I do. Thanks to anybody that's going to, come to the show or read the interview, sure way you decide to present it. I have 4 sons from 36 to 23 that, because of the Beach Boys music and the concerts, that's kind of what paid for grad school. I have 3 through grad school, one more, like from, I won't even tell you the degrees. They're pretty big degrees. Some of them are PhDs. And I've got this one son who actually extended it. He's on his second master's, and he's 23. And he extended it. And he's grooving along with his education. Can't wait to go to work. And it's all because of the fans that come to the show and bought the albums and did all that stuff. I was able to get these guys paid for, no charge to my kids, through grad school. I never told them that they didn't have to pay for grad school. I just kind of shut up, laid low, and I was cool.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
So I owe anyone who's going to read your interview just a big thank you. And I'm not the only, the only guy in the band that would ever say that. We all have these really. We're not like the billionaire guys. Believe me. We do really well, and that's groovy. And we have charities that Mike Love for the foundation that he does, and I have a thing called Surfrider Foundation. And you support them and you give them money, and we've got 85,000 paying members, and it's all about clean water. We all mix all that stuff along with, having a good life, and if, our kids wanted to go to college, of course, I hypnotized them into it when they were studying when they were babies.
Right.
Had no choice.
I'm telling you guys have really had such an incredible longevity and career. You started in the 60s, and you're still here in 2014, and you've seen so many people come and go and had all these crazy controversies, and you guys are just kind of like, hey, we're playing our music, we're having a good time, and this is what we do. And I think that's why people really respect you guys.
And it's not immune to the controversies and the drugs.
Right.
Mike Love and Al Jardine and I just never did the drugs, period.
Right.
There's no discussion other than no thank you, not my deal. It's like Eric Clapton. Oh my God, I never thought he'd make it, and he's made it the best. He's so healthy and and loved around the world and grown up. You know, so every family, whatever strata you are at, you know, can be, you know, a success, a failure, fall into drugs, never do them. You know, I just chose not to, and then Mike same way. And as I said, Al Jardine.
Oh yeah, I mean, and you know, when I was younger, you guys were on Full House quite a bit, and I just caught an episode. Was it 2 weeks ago? And I saw you guys on the Full House bit, and I was like, I totally remember these guys playing with John Stamos and always having a good time. And
well, that episode of us playing in his living room and then having them join us for real, that was all live, by the way.
Oh wow!
So and then the tempo was so good without a band, just acoustics in the living room, and then our band, the tempo was so good they spliced together, and so that's all live, and that's the reason I say that talk about John saying he says that's the most popular episode they ever had on Full House.
Oh, I'm sure I've seen probably from the time I watched it the first time till now. I've probably seen it 100 times. I watch a lot of Full House, and I watch a lot of Golden Girls.
Well, you know, as you get older, and I don't mean getting 300 years older, but, you know, you often go back to your comfort food in terms of image and music.
Yep.
You know, it's like your grandparents saying, oh, this is our song. You know, that kind of a vibe.
Yeah.
The way it's going to be. You know, I don't know if I were young now and I would hear, you know, recording by Pitbull and say, well, you know, that's our song, honey. But never so I'm not putting that down. I mean, my God, think about how radical the Beatles were to parents back in the day.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So I don't want to be one of those parents. Yeah. Anyway, so our show, we change the show every night. We're never under 90 minutes.
Wow.
We get a little itchy when we have to play 90 minutes. And some of the year, like if some of the Georgian people were in Naples, Florida, of all places, for, you know, 10 days sometime around there of January, they would see, they're sold out, they would see the Beach Boys are playing with the Naples Symphony. And we do symphony concerts too. And it's
oh my
really
gosh.
amazing.
I bet you that's incredible.
Well, you sound like a fan, so if you think of the harmony of the chord construction, simple but insanely cool.
Yes.
Don't Worry Baby, and then picture 85 musicians in that chord structure. It brings tears to your eyes to hear it. It's so wonderful.
That seems like such a rich concert. You know, you'll never hear anything like that ever again. Oh my gosh, I've got to tell my aunt and uncle love Naples. That is kind of like their go-to.
Oh.
They love to vacation there. And I'm going to tell them about that because I think that especially my Uncle Mark, I think that he would absolutely love that.
Well, it just happened. Look on the site. I think it's sold. Yeah, it is sold out.
Oh.
You can always StubHub and get tickets. But to hear us with the symphony,
oh my gosh,
it's pretty amazing. And it takes 2.5 hours maximum, including break, of their show. We go there and we rehearse with them, and there's no mistake because we fine-tuned the scores. You know, we have an overture of about 16 songs in 4.5 minutes. It's really,
wow.
And it's a nice night. But we don't do the symphony at the expense of the vibe of the show that'll be in Macon.
Right.
You'd have the same amount of fun at either show, just one of them has the symphony. And we don't get hits. You know, we have them adapt to us. It's very cool. So whenever we're playing casinos, we're playing private parties, we're playing subscription symphonies, we're playing all over the world. We've been, by the time November ends, we will have been to Europe 3 times this year, and top of everything else. So just think about doing something all your life, and then your friends are retiring, and you're booking 140 concerts for this year, doing something that you like to do. How cool is that? It's what Steve Jobs said. He said, do something you like.
That's right.
So there you go. Do something you love.
Yeah, I always was told if you're doing something you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
Well, it really is true.
Yeah.
If I get tired, I get tired. the airlines have really let everybody down the last 20 years.
Yeah.
The smaller states, and we've never been a bus band. But for instance, I'm in Santa Barbara, so if I wanted to go to Las Vegas, I have to fly a couple cities. I can't go nonstop from here.
Ugh.
So sometimes we'll rent for the day a big 50 seat sit-up bus and drive 3 hours. Sometimes when the crew's doing their thing, we'll jump on their bus and once in a while go overnight. Not a lot. We get to our shows, and if we do an overnight thing, we go to a hotel and do whatever we need to do, rest or whatever, work out. But this is what we do, and you think, oh my God, you guys are over 30. How do you do it? Well, I look at it like, how do you not do it?
It's a lot of love.
And doing something that you like to do that changes every night.
Yep.
It's perfect.
That's awesome. Dave has a question he'd like to ask you.
Yeah.
What is it?
So you've had this just wonderful career for many decades now, and I was just curious to know, what is it that keeps you going? Where do you find inspiration to continue doing?
Well, that's an easy question. We're all kind of creators, music creators, and I decided that when I got older, I would wrinkle and my songs wouldn't, and I kind of put off writing songs for a while, and that's probably my best talent. I can sing, I can't dance, and I can play, but the writing, that's what I have a flair for. And I pay attention. I listen to a lot of country music because, for me, I think those are the best songs. Honest to God.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I can appreciate the groove of, if I were younger, I'd be listening to hip hop, and probably my parents would be freaking out of four-letter words, and I'd have to agree with them. But so I keep it going. I'm kind of ramping up songwriting, but I'm thinking of it more in terms of movies and TV, but not just alone. I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. The old-fashioned way is to think that way and make sure that you get a really great recording, and you try and get it in the radio. So the radio means a different thing now. There's so many ways to hear music, but I have plenty of time to be thinking about songs, and then I get to go. Like in my day, just about the time I might get bored, I get to go and sound check, have dinner, and do the show.
Wow.
I mean, it really works. It's kind of like we've turned into a traveling, how would I say it, Disney World.
Hey, that's a good thing. Disney, Disney World is where it's at. It's where it's always been. So that's a good thing.
Well, you now in our shows you see grandparents, parents, and kids, and they're all singing the same songs, just the way they do at Disneyland and Disney World. I'm partial to Disneyland because it's the first one they built, and I'm in California. But I surf, I sail, I have if you think of years ago, if you wanted to express yourself in terms of recording, you almost had to either have the money to go into a recording studio or have a recording contract. Well, now you can do it. If you have 100 square feet of extra room, you can build a studio, and a lot of it's virtual. But remember, the technology is wonderful, but garbage in, garbage out.
Yep, absolutely.
Human win, technology does.
Absolutely, yeah. I totally. I'm a lover of all kinds of music because my mom was a big rock fan, and my dad loved all kinds of oldies and goodies. So I grew up on pretty much everything, which I think is great because I got to love the new stuff, the old stuff. You just always have an appreciation for it.
Did you ever hear the Pink Floyd album, The Wall?
Oh yeah, that was one of my mom's favorites. Yeah.
Tell your mom when you talk to her just that I sang on it and did vocal ranges for it.
That's incredible. That's just incredible.
And the credit was so small, it came out in an LP, right?
Yep.
That you have to have an atomic microscope You know, when they switched over to CDs, you could hardly see it. I used Tony Neal and a few other people to sing on it. But, you know, I did a lot of that. Thank you, Brian Wilson, for teaching me how to vocal arrange. And I'll never be as good as you.
That is, I just cannot imagine this. Have you ever thought about writing a book?
No, I'd rather talk to you. I honestly, I'm not a book guy. Mike's writing a book, I think.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't work for me. I'd rather drop a story off in an interview here and there and have someone figure out all the places, because you can find everything on Google and they can put the interviews together. I just don't want to have a book. I don't know. I'm weird that way. I just don't. I don't know. No.
I you know, I'm not a writer per se, but my mom is kind of a very interesting, very colorful character, and I always said I was going to write a book, and it was going to be called "If It's Not One Thing, It's My Mother."
That's good.
Yeah, I was because, you know, I've lived kind of a crazy. My mom is, you know, a little Native American crazy lady, but yeah, I just think sometimes you can't, if you have all these awesome stories. I mean, your career has spanned so long, and you have met and worked and collaborated with so many different people. Collaborated.
All by accident. All by accident.
I know that is the craziest
part. I just plan out a music career. Okay, I'm going to give you the reason when I was young why I wanted to get in the music business.
Okay.
But first of all, guess what it is? Give up?
Girls?
Exactly. That's the only reason I wanted to get in the business.
It's still the same reason today. I think so too. That's the only reason I know.
Probably if you're young, but no, I'm a whole different thing. But I have 1 out of 3 sons married, so they're out. You know, and they're not in the music business, but
yeah.
But I get all of it. And I was young, and I was in a band, and when I backed up the Everly Brothers for 2 songs. I was 16. I then had to play as the band that people danced to separately. So they had, you know, you'd play 10 songs and people would dance, kids, and then you would back up. So this girl came up to me. I swear to God, this is true. This girl comes up to me, and she was so cute. I couldn't believe it. 16 years old, and this is happening. But you'll appreciate the humor of it. So she said, "Will you sign my arm?" I said, "What do you mean sign your arm?" "Sign my arm, I'll never wash." And I laughed, because she made me laugh. And I signed her arm. And then about 2 weeks later, she showed up at one of our little dance and show concerts, and she showed me on her arm, and she said, "See?"
Oh my gosh.
I swear to God, that's true.
That's awesome. Well, you have been so awesome to talk to, and we don't want to keep you too long, but we really appreciate it. You totally made our day, and we're going to put this up on our website, and I know that the show is going to go great in Macon, and everybody's really excited that you're coming. My in-laws have tickets to your show, so they're very excited. And
well, would you tell everyone, please don't overdress, don't wear a suit, don't do that.
Yeah, if you know my mother-in-law, you don't have to worry about it. She's very casual, laid back, and my father-in-law, he's kind of buttoned down, but yeah. So they are very, very excited. They just cannot say it, and they're counting down the days. Oh
man, well, this is going to be cool. I mean, it's as Mike says. I think this is the 50th anniversary of fun. But those concerts are really fun. I'm not kidding. I have the best time. I can't believe I get paid to do this every night.
That's incredible.
It's been amazing. Does Dave have anything else to say?
You got anything else, Dave?
You know, I did have a quick question if you have the time. You know, are you still actively writing songs? And if so, what is the songwriting process
yes,
like?
As I said, I wrinkle the songs don't.
Yep.
I am going to be as active as I ever was, but I'm going to focus writing a song that ends up in country radio, because songs are very heartfelt, and just listen to country radio, then just listen to, you know, what somebody 16 years old, 18 listening to, and it all has a groove, but I think the songs are a little deeper, you know?
Yes, I do agree. They always have a story to them.
Did you ever hear my song? You know, I write the song.
Yes, but Barry Manilow and wasn't it the song that over 200 people redid?
Well, no, not, yeah, they just covered it. But
they covered it.
Okay. The first line in the verse is, I write the song. No, I've been alive forever, and I wrote the first song. This is ancient history now. The first line of the chorus is, I write the songs that make the whole world sing.
Uh-huh.
What do you think it's about?
Is it music itself?
What?
Music itself?
No, it's about God saying that God's been alive forever and wrote the very first song, and God writes the songs that make the whole world sing. It's kind of like a secret hymn.
Huh. That kind of is like an aha moment.
Aha. Now you know.
Very cool.
Based on the Beach Boys' God Only Knows, radio, now remember he had single record, A-side, B-side.
Mm-hmm.
B-side was Wouldn't It Be Nice? We're in Asbury Park. Capitol Records guy shows up. He says, you guys have to learn Wouldn't It Be Nice. Why? Well, that's not a single. Well, we know it's the backside, but radio won't play a song that says God Only Knows. They don't like the word God, so you're going to have to we're going to start promoting Wouldn't It Be Nice.
Wow.
And that's 1966 or 7. Yeah, right around there, 66.
That's it.
So there's a lot of weird things, huh?
I'm telling you, you're a history book.
Well, I am, because I stayed healthy and I can still talk. I'm telling you the way it was.
No, but I mean, all this, these are things that people would never have known, you know?
Well, look, there's always a story behind the story.
I love it.
You know, I did the vocal arrangements and sang on Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me with Elton.
Yes.
And that was Tony Steele's first hit record she ever sang.
Really?
And I used Carl Wilson. Yeah, that's before love will keep us together. I'm going back into your Mother's Day now.
Yeah. I like the Captain and Tennille.
Yeah, well, me too. But then again, I haven't checked the pop version now. The country version, I happen to like Taylor Swift because I think she writes really well.
Yes, me too. I love her.
Well, I think she's great. A great role model for young girls and women. That she's right on her game.
Yeah, and she she doesn't really get into too much trouble, and she always puts out good songs. Yeah. Except
she went out with one of the Kennedys.
Yeah, that was
I don't think there's a big brain trust in the Kennedy family.
Yeah.
The name is the name.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like I said, you have been so incredible to talk to, and we wish you luck, and we hope that you guys will definitely come back and visit Macon, and maybe we can talk to you again, and if there's anything that we can do, you just let us know.
Well, no, everything's groovy. Just tell everyone to take their parents as a present to go see Tony Bennett. He's 88 years old. He doesn't have that old-fashioned vibrato, that waving vibrato. He rocks, and he'll probably retire soon.
Yeah.
He's absolute, in the Sinatra mode, national treasure. And if you ask Mike Love, Mr. Love, when he's going to retire, he said, we're going to ask Tony Bennett.
Well, I'm still shocked that he does what he does all the time.
Well, don't forget, his album was #1 in the last 2 weeks, Lady Gaga. And and she sings great, you know.
That's,
so that's
awesome.
#1 album he's had in 3 years. He's 86, he has #1 album. He's 88, he has another #1 album. And as a present to your parents or grandparents, if you're really young, that would be a great thing to do. Take your parents to see this amazing guy. His daughter, who sings lovely, opens for about 15 minutes, and then all of a sudden, History comes on the stage, and he's dressed to the 11s in a suit.
Oh, wow.
He goes, what's new? How is the world treating you? And you go, oh, my gosh. Yeah. Or San Francisco. So, do a little music history, because he will retire, and it'll be gone. Well, listen, I know I overtalked.
No, listen, it's been great. We just didn't want to take up your time. We have absolutely loved this. This is awesome. This is going to totally make this made my whole year.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
We were supposed to be flying today, Yesterday we were supposed to play in Hawaii. I'm going to put the channel on to see if that's hurricane. They canceled us.
No.
I'm going to go surfing. I live about 150 feet from where I paddle out. And the water's cold. I always wear a wetsuit, but I still do my sport. Like some guy or girl does golf, I still do surfing and sailing.
That's awesome.
That's my thing today. All right, I'll let you guys go. Dave, nice talking to you.
Great talking to you, too.
Thank you.
And everything's groovy.
All right.
Yeah, God bless. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.